After 2.5 years of restrictions, air travel is back with a vengeance, and airlines and airports are struggling to keep up. For instance, London's Heathrow Airport has set a cap of 100,000 departing passengers daily until mid-September, forcing carriers to cancel flights.
The industry was caught unawares, when, especially in Europe and America, when governments decided to reopen their borders. And the demand came back very, very strongly. Most of the disruption is taking place at immigration counters, at security areas, at baggage handling areas. They need at least 3 to 6 months, before they can get their resources back to the same level as they used to have in 2019.
Air passenger traffic in Europe has rebounded to around 80% of 2019 levels. In North America, it's almost 90%. But in the Asia-Pacific region, with China and Japan still closed, passenger traffic was just 37.5% of pre-pandemic levels. Experts say Asian carriers won't be spared from the ongoing travel disruptions plaguing Europe.
It's a very destructive impact on an airline such as Malaysia Airlines, Thai Airways, which is very, very dependent on European flyers, obviously Singapore Airlines, which fly amongst all the Southeast Asian carriers, fly to the most number of cities in continental Europe and also to the UK. So it has dampened their business.
Despite such potential disruption, aviation analysts at DBS have a buy call on Singapore Airlines stock, as they believe it could be profitable or at least break even by the first quarter of its financial year 2023. That's on the back of strong cargo yields and passenger load factors led by key markets, Europe and the Americas. DBS says valuations in aviation stocks remain compelling.
You are talking about the industry that was stifled, to the maximum extent possible in 2020 and 2021. So they were not selling very many tickets. So in the scheme of things, I think this is unlikely to impact their revenue too much.
Capacity crunch, delays, disruptions have not affected the majority of the airports. It's just that some of these big airports like Heathrow, like Paris, Charles de Gaulle, like Frankfurt, and to some extent, of course, also Amsterdam, have got issues such as manpower crunch.
As the chaos continues to unfold, some say this could be an eye-opener for Asia-Pacific airports that have infrastructure lagging behind.
Southeast Asia and some parts of Asia-Pacific, in fact, will undergo more disruptions compared to Europe or even North America, not just in Bangkok or in Jakarta or in Kuala Lumpur, but in other secondary cities as well. So they will find it difficult to get up to speed. And in fact, I think we're already seeing some of that, even for domestic travel.
It could be a tough second half for regional carriers as currencies in Southeast Asia weaken, making air travel expensive and operating costs higher. Volatile jet fuel prices, higher inflation, and rising interest rates will also keep finances tight for carriers.
The industry has survived, but they have also created a lot of debt for themselves, and this debt has got to be paid back.
As the summer peak travel season heats up, experts say compromise is the only way to solve the airport chaos and avert a potential spillover.
There should be an understanding between airport authorities and the airlines and to come to some sort of agreement. And this involves governments also to ensure that there are not too many people flying when airports and airlines are unable to cope with this.
COVID-19 brought the aviation industry to a standstill, and its risks remain. But there are lessons to be learned, and Asia's aviation sector could get a head start.
Governments needs to manage crisis situation much better than in the initial period of the pandemic. So any knee-jerk kind of reaction with a new variant, whether it's closing borders again or it's introducing very draconian travel restrictions, all that unfortunately will affect the aviation sector again.
So long term, I think the industry will have to see how we can so-called bring the sexy back, because this was an industry that enjoyed a lot of allure. So we'll have to do whatever we can to bring people back.